have the same letter, but you actually use the word. And the other people understand it, but sometimes the bad guys don't.
So what was the word for I understand? What was that?
Roger.
And what was cop? What was the other? Copy. Very good. All right, Mr. V, thank you so much for that. We have some questions here. The first one I'm going to ask, Logan, can you come up here? You're going to stand right in front of this little camera right here. All right, go ahead and introduce yourself. Can you see him, Mr. V? Oh, right here. You see him, Mr. V?
There he is, absolutely. I love his t-shirt.
Awesome. Go ahead and what's your name?
Logan.
Logan. Go ahead and read your question.
What did you do in the army?
Did you hear that, Mr. V?
I did.
Awesome.
Well, I did a lot of things in the Army. My primary job was I was what you call an air missile defense specialist. So I shot missiles into space. But as time went by, I became what they call a ground force operator. So I would I would train and deploy soldiers into like Afghanistan or Iraq and plan operations to catch the bad guys. And then I would actually do the operations with them and catch the bad guys.
So he basically caught bad guys his entire life. Isn't that super cool?
Yeah.
That's like a superhero. Cheesy as it is,
Well,
he's my superhero.
we also did more than that. We also helped build schools. We also helped build buildings for kids and programs in other countries so that kids like yourself can get an education like you do.
Yep. So you know how your school was already here?
Yeah.
In some places, schools aren't already there. So he helped build them so that they can come here and do what you guys do. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Daryl and Zanila, would you please come up here? Daryl, I'll have you read yours first. Go ahead and look at. There you go. Remember what you wrote?
Have you jumped out of a plane?
All right. So the first question was, have you jumped out of a plane? And then I'm gonna have you read yours as well, just because it goes along with it. Zanila, go ahead and read your question.
Is it scary when you fall off the plane?
All right. So the questions were, did you jump out of planes, and was it scary?
Yes, I've jumped out of planes and helicopters. Helicopters are my favorite. But jumping out of an airplane, let me tell you how it happens. You have a bunch of guys and girls in an airplane. We're all lined up with our helmets and all our gear and our parachutes, and we're very uncomfortable. And the airplane is not the nicest airplane. It's not like you're flying overseas in a luxury plane. You're on a bench with about 100 other people. And then there's a main person who either a boy or a girl who stands up and controls everybody and tells everybody to stand up. They open the airplane door, they look outside while the airplane is flying. And then when they see that it's clear, they make us stand up, and we line up, and then a light turns green, and they push us out the door. So they push us out the airplane, so you don't have time to think. Is it scary? Yes, it is, because you're jumping out of a plane really high. But when your parachute opens, it's so beautiful. You see the sky, you'll see the ground below you, and you slowly go down, and it's so amazing.
What do you think you guys would be scared if you jumped out of a plane?
No.
No. Oh, we got mixed reviews. Mr. B, how many times have you jumped out of planes? Do you think you have a number?
Several times.
Several.
Quite a few times.
Like a lot. That was one of the main things that he did. Does it hurt your knees, Mr. V?
Yes, it hurts my knees, my back, and my neck. That's why I'm old.
All right, Case, come on up here. Where are you? Alrighty, stand right in front of this camera for me, right here. Alrighty, can you ask him your question?
Was it hard?
So being in the Army, was it hard? Thank you, Case.
It was. It was very hard, but it was also very fun. So kids, understand something. When something's hard, that's okay. Because when you succeed in it, when you do well in it, it is the most amazing feeling in the world. So it was hard, but it was a lot of fun.
Alrighty, and last but not least, come here, Ava. You want to go ahead and read your question, Mr. Reeve, right here. Go ahead. Give me a hug.
Ava
Yes?
and ever been hurt in the army?
What was that first question? Can you read both of them?
Have you ever fought in the war? And have you ever been hurt in the army?
Did you hear that, Mr. V?
Yes.
Perfect. Go ahead.
I did fight in the war. I fought in 2 of them, actually 3 of them. A long, long time ago, when Miss V was a baby, like 1 or 2 years old, I was in Kosovo during the Kosovo War, and we helped those people and liberated them from a very bad man. And then during Iraq War, I went to Iraq twice, once for a year, and once for 15 months, and we fought bad guys there, but we also helped a lot of people who just wanted to be free from the bad guys. And then I also spent a year in Afghanistan, where also people just wanted to be free from some really bad men who wanted to do bad things, and we stopped that from happening. I have been hurt, but just because it was very tough. The places we were walking were very hard. A lot of the things we did in the helicopters and in our operation, our mission was very difficult. So I was hurt a couple of times, but I'm okay now.
Yeah. Alrighty, Mr. V, is there any last words from a veteran that you'd like our kiddos to know?
You are very lucky. You are very lucky kids to be in school. You're very lucky kids to be able to play outside and feel really good about what you do. Because there's a lot of kids your age around the world who aren't so lucky. They don't get to have the education you have. They don't get to play with their friends like you get to play right now. And they don't get to be free like you are. But always remember this. Freedom isn't free. You have to earn it. So in your life, do the right thing. Do the right thing no matter what you do. And when you get older, and you get to be as old as Miss V, do some great things for the world. Make the world a better place so people like me don't have to go to war.
Alrighty, that was, go ahead.
Oh, and by the way, your teacher, Miss V, she is awesome, isn't she? Yeah. Let me see a show of hands. How much of you love her? Me too.
Oh, that's a lot of hands.
Me too. And also, look at my hat. I'm wearing the K-State hat. It's rule. Wildcat rule.
Alrighty, guys, level 0. Alrighty, thank you so much, Mr. V. Everybody, can you say thank you to Mr. V?
Thank you, Sid. Thank you.
Alright, wait, bye, guys. Thank you, Mr. V.
Bye.
Alrighty, was that cool? You guys have to learn a little bit more about the life of a veteran. It sounded pretty interesting, wasn't it? Jumping out of planes, going to other countries. It's scary, isn't it?
No.
I think it'd be scary too. Oh, don't worry about it. Alrighty. Guys, alrighty. So what we're gonna do is we're now gonna watch a video. I believe you guys have watched it before. Right here, the Thank You Veteran.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch it. So everyone.
Thank you, veterans. What is a veteran? A veteran is someone who has served in the armed forces. Every U.S. veteran has served in one of the 5 branches of the armed forces: the Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Coast Guard. Each branch has a different job to do. For example, the Army mostly works on land. The Air Force works in the sky. People in the Air Force fly planes and helicopters. People in the Navy, the Marines, and the Coast Guard all spend a lot of time at sea. But they can have other jobs too. For example, some people in the Navy fly jets. The branches are separate, but they often work together. They might work as a team to rescue someone who is hurt at sea. The President of the United States is in charge of all the branches. Under the Constitution, the President is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. On November 11th, we celebrate Veterans Day. We honor men and women who have served in the armed forces. We honor veterans because they trained hard to do their jobs. Some were medics and helped people who were hurt. Some drove tanks. And some people even worked on submarines. All of them were brave. You might know a veteran. Maybe someone in your family or in your neighborhood is a veteran. We can say thank you to veterans every day of the year. But Veterans Day is an especially great time to do it. Thank you, veterans.
All right, can someone tell me a reason why we celebrate veterans? Go ahead, Ava.
Because it's to honor the people who served in the military.
Why do we honor the people who serve in the military, Lexi?
For keeping us safe and
Do you think they worked really hard to keep you guys safe?
yeah.
Yeah? Alrighty. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and read this again. It's gonna read it to you. I'm gonna have you choose a buddy on the carpet, doesn't matter who, someone up next to you, so you don't have to move too much. I'm gonna pass them out so you guys can share so we can read along. Cash, you can see right up here.
Yep, nobody's moving on the carpet.
No one's
Nobody's
moving.
moving.
You find a partner right next to you. You turn around and do a Jaden. Okay, you guys go. You guys can do together. Audrey and Brooklyn, are you two together? Yes, you go. Alright, Lexi, you can be a part of it. See what he says right here. We're not moving too much. Or Emma's Island, you can be with any. An island, you can be together.
Luna is an island. You put on the right way or you were flipping down. Is that understood?
Here you are. There you are. Alright, everyone, please be careful with these because they're the only ones we have. Cash, can you open that up, please? Speak up. No, we're not reading it right now. This is going to read us to it, okay? Guys, the computer's going to read to us. You're going to follow along, okay?
Wait, stop. 3, 2, 1.
Ready.
Gonna read the front, so I hope
Veteran
it's on the front.
Code Talkers. 77 years ago, Native American men created a secret code for the United States Marines. They helped win a big war. Snap. A secret code.
Now we're in the Scholastic movie.
As you read, think about how the Code Talkers helped our country. Do you wish you could make a code? You could send secret messages to your friends. Nobody would know what you were saying. Codes are fun, and they can also be important. Long ago, the Marines used a secret code to help win a war. The men who created this code were called Code Talkers. They were Navajo. That is a Native American nation. Navajo Troubles. Years before, the United States had been terrible to the Navajo. It forced them to leave their homes. Many Navajo had to leave the land their families had lived on for thousands of years. Navajo children were forced to go to schools where they were punished for speaking the Navajo language. But many students still spoke Navajo in secret. They didn't forget the language they loved. The Marines' problem. The Marines were lucky those young Navajo remembered their language. In 1942, the Marines had a problem. America was fighting in a big war called World War II. Marines tried to send messages in secret code, but the enemy kept figuring out the code. The Marines needed to make a secret code the enemy couldn't figure out. How would they do it? A Navajo code. Then the Marines got an idea. Why not use the Navajo language? It could make a tricky code. Most people didn't know the language. It was very hard to learn. Our enemies would not understand it. Hundreds of young Navajo men joined the Marines to become code talkers. Their code took English words and letters and matched them with Navajo words. For example, the code word for a destroyer ship was Kalo, which means shark in Navajo. The code was ready, but would it work? work in battle? The code worked. It did. In one big battle, Navajo code talkers sent and received 800 coded messages in 2 days. They did not make one mistake. The code talkers helped win that battle. After World War II was over, the Marines told the code talkers to keep their work a secret. The code talkers went home quietly. Nobody thanked them. Celebrating the code talkers. That did finally change. In 1968, the Marines shared the story of what the code talkers did. Over time, the code talkers have received medals and marched in parades. Thank you, code talkers. Thank you for helping our country. By Aaron Kelly.
I might read the little.
In 1943, these code talkers sent messages on a radio. Code talker Dan Akey holds his medal in 2002.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, cool. Alrighty, everybody close them very gently and pass those up here, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty, guys. So I placed a worksheet on your desk, and I'm going to explain it up here before you go back, okay? So this is just over everything we've kind of done today, because we've learned a lot about veterans today, haven't we? Yeah. So it's going to ask you what a veteran is, and you're going to go ahead and write down your definition of it, all right? This should be a little obvious, but if it's not, we can help you. It's going to ask you what month it's celebrated in, and so we'll put that on the worksheet. And then the last one is, what is one thing we do on Veterans Day? Now, if you finish that really quickly and people are still working, you can flip it over to the other side, and you can write what your favorite thing was about talking with Mr. V, okay? Alright, and I'm going to use code to make sure you guys understand. So I'm going to ask, do you copy? What do we say back?
Roger.
Roger! I'll ask one more time. Ready? Do you copy?
Roger.
Alright, at a level 0. Go back and start working on this. Thank you, guys. If you have questions, raise your hand. The Spitner or I will help you out. What's up?